The video for June 18th, 2017 is entitled, "Are the Elite Immune from Prosecution?" The subject of pedophilia is controversial to say the least, especially when the elite are known criminals and practitioners of child abuse. That's bad enough, of course, but some suggest that these charlatans have made themselves legally immune from prosecution. They will allow the little people they have entrapped to be caught and prosecuted, but the kingpins remain untouchable. If this is, in fact, true, do you see why I have insisted that only a creator with alleged omnipotence and omniscience can bring remedy to the problem? The system will not willingly allow itself to be brought down any other way. Their game plan is total control of humanity, and they will stop at nothing to attempt to do exactly that, control all of us. According to their plan, those who cannot be controlled will be eliminated. Thomas Jefferson wrote, quote, how soon the labor of men would make a paradise of the whole earth, were it not for misgovernment and a diversion of all his energies from the proper object, the happiness of man, to the self-interest of kings, nobles, and priests, end quote. Indeed, last night I attended a group that has been showing videos of the American Revolution. And of course, there were a lot of idealists, Jefferson being one of them, that were involved in that revolutionary process of supposedly liberating the United States from the control of Britain. Although it's questionable nowadays, because even back in the time of the revolution, there were Tories, I guess they were called, that were working with those that were trying to set up a better government, an independent government, independent from the elite establishment, independent of royalty. But the redcoats were sent over, and they, by military force, were stealing from the colonies because they considered it their divine right to take whatever they wanted and to impose whatever rules or laws that they felt necessary to impose to maintain their control, because it's all about a control grid. And folks, I want you to understand that even the religions have played into that game. When he said the nobles and priests, kings, nobles, and priests, their self-interest. They want to be the boss. They want to be the one that makes the rules. They do not want freedom. They do not want people to be happy. They do not want people to be able to find fulfillment. They want to control. And again, these people are criminals at the highest degree and have been for a long, long, long time. Again, they drink human blood because they think it makes them younger. They think the fountain of youth is in drinking the blood of the innocent children. That's why they do child sacrifice. That's why they do child rapes and abuse of little boys and little girls that have not even reached the age of accountability, and they tap into that innocence and try to claim it and put it into their life force, because they don't trust that they have enough life force to fulfill their desires, which is domination of everybody. Again, it's a perverted and distorted ideal. In their minds, it's an ideal, which is certainly no ideal from the normal human perspective, that would allow everybody the freedom to operate their lives, our lives, independently and freely, so long as we don't abuse others. But these are abusers. Do you not understand that this elite establishment is an establishment of abuse? They are abusers of freedom. They are abusers of principles of decency and morality. They are abusers of everything that we would put on a pedestal and hold in esteem, because their whole distorted vision is control. It's about taking over the world. And they have set up a system for themselves where they are above the law. They can get away with anything. It showed that in the video that we watched, again, about the American Revolution, and how the people that we in America, in the United States, have come to idolize and put on a pedestal because they were willing to stand up for their rights and go to war. But war is not the answer. War didn't win then. It only delayed the inevitable, the control of the elite, the control of the deified royalty that make themselves gods while everyone else is a nothing, a peon. And this is the problem that we face as humans. And we must, and I'm telling you, must either come together or we will be eliminated by these people, because that's their game plan. Don't you understand that the Georgia Guidestones says that they want to bring the population of the world down to 500 million people? And there's what, 7.5 billion people on the planet right now? Does that mean they have to get rid of 6.5 or 7 billion people in order to achieve their desired population density on the planet? And they want that population to be a controlled population, to be a population of willing slaves who will do what they're told, do not think outside the box, and do not rock the boat, because that's not what they want. They want to be the boss. And it's an egocentric, completely out of a line and out of balance egocentricity that is hell-bent on destroying everything that stands in its way of making itself the high and mighty. They don't just want to be like God, they want to be God. And why God allows this to continue to happen without bringing remedy that actually works. And war is not a remedy that works. I want you to understand that violence does not accomplish it. Violence only creates more violence. I mean, there needs to be a peaceful way where these charlatans are either put in a position where they can repent, or they are simply removed and extinguished. Because this is, people say everything is one. It's all connected. It's not all connected. Don't you see that our reality is a disconnect? Can't you see that? I mean, it's as obvious to me as anything could be possibly obvious. There's a disconnect between those who claim to be the leaders and the rulers and the rich controllers, and the rest of the human population. We are considered by them to be useless eaters. Well, I'm sorry. Eating is not something that, I'm not a useless eater, and neither are you, and neither are the people in Africa or Latin America or the so-called third world countries where they want to do most of the elimination. Folks, we need to have divine intervention to take back the world. If it was ever ours to begin with, it needs to become ours, and that can only happen when we are made free. And we cannot be made free unless those that keep us from attaining freedom are somehow curtailed. And how that's going to happen, I don't know. I pray to God that God would either raise up enough people or do something, God's self, to remedy the situation and to put us back on a positive path. Thank you for listening, and namaste.